Howdy, folks. I've been working on my Texan, so that's one howdy. Here's another one. Howdy, folks. I don't know which one sounds better, but I've been working on it. Chevy Colorados. We're covering that at the Texas State Fair, and I gotta say, they are completely different when you're up close and personal. And there are 5 trim levels. There's the WT, the LT, the Trail Boss, the Z71, and of course the ZR2. And then there's more on top of that. By the way, behind the camera is Andre.
Yeah, dude, so we have at least 3 of them here. We have the Z71 right there, Trail Boss, and then the ZR2. So which one is your favorite?
It's not the Z71, but I wanted to point out something before I go to my favorite, and that is, boom, here. I did not expect this, but I think that this is actually part of a package. In fact, it even shows it on the official picture.
Yeah.
These are 20-inch wheels on the Z71, which is insane. But I think there's a point to this. I think they wanted to market this more towards the person who's more urban and hangs out in city streets and whatnot and doesn't go off-road that often because you really don't want to with 20s. But you still have a lot of ground clearance, and there's a lot of room for articulation in here as well. So it's interesting what they decided to do in terms of the look. But I wanted to shoot over to the Trail Boss, and that's this red one over here. Now, almost every video that we've done, we've featured a blue truck, but this red one over here, this is your Trail Boss. And the Trail Boss is a very different animal because it really is sort of the in-between in terms of off-road capable. Because you do start with the WT, right?
Yeah.
But the Trail Boss gives you a lot more. Now, there are really 3 different powertrains, even though it's all the 2.7-liter turbocharged engine, which is a 4-cylinder. And Andre, what are those powertrain numbers?
Yeah, well, it starts, let's just turn back just for a second.
Yes.
Because like you said, 2.7-liter straight 4 gas engine.
Yes.
Turbocharged. 239 horsepower and 257 pound-feet of torque and 8-speed automatic.
8-speed.
8-speed. Not a 10-speed. So a lot of people expected a 10-speed, right?
Right.
But that's kind of their base tune for the engine. And then they update it as they move along. But what do you think about style? I wanted to ask you overall, like, because it's a new truck, not maybe all new because the chassis is largely the same, but they actually extended the wheelbase.
Yeah, I mean, even though the chassis has a lot of the same hard points and a lot of the components are the same, they did stretch things out, which I really do like. And what they've done is they've kind of done a one-size-fits-all. Oh, you can hear Big Tex from here, whose hand is right over your shoulder.
We'll show him in a second.
Yeah, he's even taller than you and Roman. So up close, a very different truck. Now, I heard some guys online commenting, well, it's just like a Toyota Tacoma. It's not. The only component here in the entire truck that looks a little similar to Tacoma might be this little part right here where it lifts up. But in terms of profile, no, I'm sorry, it doesn't look like a Tacoma, nor does it look like a Nissan. And when you're up close with them, you can really see what they went out of their way to do. For one thing, even on the base model and here with the Z71, they've changed the entire fender design to make all of them look a lot chunkier in the back. And I do appreciate the fact that they reskinned this and did this. Now, once again, 2 inches further back with this wheelbase. So the beds are all the same, one size fits all. Cabs are all the same, once again, one size fits all, right?
Yeah, but I'm a little sad that they didn't do like an extended cab, crew cab only. What do you think?
Well, nobody wanted them. The bottom line is that Chevrolet straight out was like, okay, listen, we're only going to build what we think people are going to buy because they're not buying a whole lot. Now, there are a couple things I really do appreciate. They kept the Chevrolet bumper step. They actually made it pretty big, and I do like that. It's actually really good room for the foot. So that is good. The bed itself, this one is lined, but I think it's an option on the WT. It's a pretty good sized bed.
Yeah, 5 foot 2 inch. So let's turn our attention to this truck because we haven't seen it in person yet.
No, the Trail Boss, and there's a couple things that are really important about the Trail Boss. I think that this might be the volume seller because, at least for off-road, right? Because let's face it, the ZR2 is going to be very expensive by comparison. This one's going to give you a lot of the goodness of the ZR2, but not all of the goodies. For instance, it won't have the spool valve shocks, it won't have the front locker, it's not going to have a lot of that stuff. But what it does have is a locking rear diff, and it does have like the second level powertrain, am I correct?
Yeah, well, it is still the G80, dude.
Right, it's got the G80.
Yeah, the mechanical locker.
So it's a mechanical locker. We've proven that they are reliable, if not the most desirable thing out there. But on top of that, You have a little bit more power when you have this vehicle, right? So what's
Yeah,
the output here?
so still the same engine, but
Right.
a different tune of that engine. 310 horsepower. Hey, that's huge.
Yes.
Right? And 390 pound-feet of torque.
So we're already leading the class, or nearly leading the class across the board, but there's even more. But we're still going to cover this truck. Now,
Yeah.
it does have some unique components to it that are specifically to the Trail Boss. So aside from the unique wheels, unique tires, I believe these tires are very similar to the ones that are actually on the heavy duty truck that we looked at earlier.
Yeah, the Territory AT, these are Wranglers. Good,
Right,
good
right. So they're an interesting combination of tire, because if you look at the side of them, they're very chunky looking, like they're super off-roady. But if you actually look at the tread does look like it's a little bit more on-road. And that seems to be a trend, right? We've seen Firestone produce that as well with, the Honda Ridgeline, among others. And it's something that I think people are looking for. They want something that looks off-roady, that might not be too off-roady. I am a little disappointed because I thought the Trail Boss would have the bigger Wrangler tires that are available, of course, on the ZR2, but we'll get to that in a minute. There are a couple of other things to keep in mind. I don't think this one's open. Let's have a look.
Can you try?
Nope, not open.
But
Yep.
this view is actually good, Nathan, because it kind of shows the width.
Yes.
They extended the width and the fenders a little bit more on the Trail Boss.
Yeah, you can really see it too. If you look over at the Z71, then you look at this. This comes out, I'd say that's about 3 inches. And you can really see why they did that. That's in order to keep the mud and rocks, from flinging onto other vehicles.
Well, the competition is really heating up, right? Because Toyota, of course, the Tacoma has had the TRD Off-Road and TRD Pro packages. So this Trail Boss enters the game,
right,
and it kind of goes up against some of the TRD Off-Road packages.
But also
and
what
others.
Ford is producing too, because if you look at the Tremor, I think that this one kind of goes heads up against the Tremor, whereas then of course the Trail Boss, that's a whole different other, the ZR2 is a whole different other thing in terms of what it competes against.
Yeah.
But in terms of a visual package, I think a lot of people are going to gravitate towards this because it looks like the most off-road capable truck, even though in reality it's not. That would be that blue one over there, which we're going to get to in just a moment.
Should we check it out?
Yeah, let's check it out.
Because I still want to know which one is your favorite. I still want to know that.
It's an interesting thing because my favorite may not be here. I'll get to that in a second. All right, so let's have a look here. So completely different level of off-road capability, and that's kind of what we're all about at TFL, because we want to be able to smash and crash it, right? Or at least I do. And that's what this is built for. Spool valve suspension, the DSSV setup. This ZR2 has locking front and rear diffs. It has skid plates underneath, a lot of them. And you can even go up to the Bison level, which has boron, right? This has smaller wheels with much larger, look at that. That is a 17-inch wheel, I believe.
Yeah.
And that is a lot of rubber that you can use for off-roading and take a lot of the air out if necessary. I'm grateful that they have that. And then even the front end design is unique.
Yeah, because the approach angle is a little bit, of course, improved. Let's show that. And also the ground clearance is actually a little bit better.
It is indeed. And then, here we go. Now, with the old ZR2, the bumper was almost exaggerated the way they cut away, so you'd have a better approach angle just for your tire. But this one still does that. So this is completely unique front end. So even though the approach angle, if you measure from here, is a number, if you look at the approach angle here, when you come up to a rock, I absolutely love the fact that they do that. And that gives you maximum approachability for a rock or other obstacle. Really, really do appreciate that. But there's one more important thing about this vehicle, aside from the lockers, aside from the armor, and aside from all that, and that is under here.
Yes, more torque.
That's right.
How much torque do you need in a midsize truck?
Well, it's over 400 pounds, right?
430 pound-feet of torque.
That's coming out of a 4-cylinder engine.
And it's, of course, 310 horsepower again.
Which is insane. So essentially best in class, but also if you think about the fact a lot of you guys are bemoaning the fact that they no longer allow the little Duramax diesel. I agree, it's kind of a bummer, but dude, I mean, talk about a hell of a trade-off, right?
Yeah, and that engine was in some of their Silverado trucks. Here's the booth, right?
Right.
So the 2.7 started actually in their bigger trucks, the 1500s.
Right.
And it's a good design. I mean, the turbocharger spools up quickly, linear torque in those trucks.
Yep.
So I cannot wait to drive this.
And another way to look at it is that they out-torque the Hemi V8s, the smaller displacement 5.7 that's
yeah,
available.
yeah.
I mean, think about that. There's a 4-cylinder that's doing that. So that is a big positive. But then again, maybe some of you guys are not into turbocharged engines. Can't help you there. But I will say this, that we are absolutely chomping at the bit, not only to get our hands on this, but my favorite, which isn't here, and that's the work truck. And I'll tell you why.
Oh.
Well, because I'm a cheapskate, and
Well,
I know there's going to be thousands and thousands of dollars between the two.
Well, let's show them.
Yeah, come on over
Yeah,
here.
let's show 'em.
So
But-
there is one spot that the work truck did arrive in, and I have a feeling one of the reasons why they did this is because, just like me, you're going to be like, you know, the work truck kind of looks cool, and I think it might be better looking than some of these other ones.
By the
Now-
way, we don't have pricing yet completely, but they're going to be available in the first half of 2023.
Doesn't it look cool, these Steelies? And just these big fat tires. I mean, it just looks like something that, yeah, you could work. And bear in mind, this will have the base level 2.7 liter 4-cylinder engine, but it's still going to be turbocharged. It's still going to put out a lot of power. What is it? I mean, the maximum is 430, but this one's going to put out
like 259,
259,
which is still quite a bit.
it's quite a bit.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I kind of dig that, and the thought of it being affordable is, of course, the most attractive part to me. A sub $30,000 truck, I think, would be awesome if they can get that there. But I have a feeling it's going to be like 31 or 32. That's a guess.
Well, especially with 4-wheel drive, it might be a little bit more pricey.
4-wheel drive,
Yeah.
and once again, standard cab, standard bed. That all comes with the truck. So there's a lot that we're looking forward to. We cannot wait to get this up to Colorado because turbocharged engine, right? And of course, you guys are waiting to see how this does against the Ford and the upcoming Ford Ranger.
And the next Tacoma too.
Right, which we suspect might be turbocharged as well, which means that all of those will do much better in our environment in Colorado.
Well, there you have it. Nathan made his pick. Do you want to hear mine?
Yes, I want to hear yours.
It's red.
Yeah, I figured you'd like that one.
I like the Trail Boss, actually. I think it offers a good balance. You know, it's not a top of the line truck,
Right.
but it offers a little bit more clearance maybe, and I really like that.
Look how different the headlights are, by the way, in this one versus the Z71.
Yeah, this is a kind of a base Trail Boss light, and that's an LED right there.
But look what's inside. Can you see that Chevy thing right there? Everybody's doing that. All the big kids like to play with the big or small little Easter eggs here and there.
Yeah, so guys, let us know which trim is your favorite, right?
Well, we all know that you're going to agree with me.
There you have it. Well, as always, alltfl.com, everything automotive, one-stop shop. We have everything from the State Fair of Texas in one place right there.
That's right, guys. We'll see you next time. Adios. I didn't say that right. Adios.
There you go.